Once upon a time, in a peaceful little village nestled beside a clear blue river, there lived a large family with many children and grandchildren. The village was surrounded by vast fields, lush bamboo groves swaying in the wind, and a winding river that provided an abundant water source for the villagers. In this family, the father, Mr. Lam, was a kind and wise man, highly respected by the entire village for his deep knowledge and compassionate heart. Mr. Lam had 7 sons, all strong and hard-working, diligently tending the fields and helping the family. However, despite their skills, they constantly competed with one another in everything, from who worked the hardest, who was the best hunter, to who was loved most by their father. They compared themselves in every aspect. Their arguments became more frequent, sometimes over trivial matters like sharing food or dividing chores. Over time, this rivalry created a growing distance between them. This troubled Mr. Lamb greatly. He understood that if things continued this way, once he was gone, his sons would no longer be close, perhaps even becoming strangers to one another. He pondered deeply, searching for a way to teach them an important lesson about unity, for he knew that only by staying bonded could the family remain strong. One day, upon seeing his sons arguing over another trivial matter, Mr. Lamb decided it was time to teach them a profound lesson. He pondered for a moment, then called all his sons together. When the 7 brothers stood around him, he took out a sturdy bundle of chopsticks, tightly bound by a small but strong string. He placed the bundle in front of them, his gaze both stern and gentle. Looking at each of his sons in turn, he said, "Try to break this bundle of chopsticks and see who can do it." The eldest son, the strongest among the 7, confidently stepped forward. He gripped the bundle tightly, using all his strength to snap it. The veins on his hands bulged, his face flushed red with effort, but the bundle remained unbroken. He shook his head and stepped back in disappointment. One by one, the other sons tried as well. Some used both hands, others placed the bundle on their knees for leverage, but no matter how hard they tried, they could not break the entire bundle at once. They looked at each other, shaking their heads in confusion, unable to understand why such a seemingly simple task was impossible. Seeing that none of his sons had succeeded, Mr. Lamb smiled. He gently picked up the bundle of chopsticks, untied the string, and carefully removed one chopstick at a time. Then, he effortlessly snapped each one in half, breaking them with ease, without any effort. His sons watched in astonishment, unable to hide their surprise. Mr. Lamb placed the broken chopsticks down, looked directly at his sons, and calmly said, "Do you see? When the chopsticks are bound together, they are strong and cannot be broken. But when separated, they become weak and are easily defeated. Our family is the same. If you stand united, love, and support one another, no one can harm you. But if you are divided, each thinking only of himself, then like these single chopsticks, you will be vulnerable and easily hurt by others." He paused for a moment, giving his sons time to reflect, then continued, "You are stronger when you are together, able to overcome difficulties and protect each other. But if you let rivalry and selfishness overshadow your brotherhood, then one day you will lose the most precious thing of all, your family." His words rang like a wake-up call, causing the 7 sons to deeply contemplate their actions. After hearing their father's teachings, the 7 sons looked at one another, gradually realizing the futility of their past arguments. They felt regret for their thoughtless actions and the hurtful words they had once spoken to each other. In the past, they had always sought to outdo one another, but now they understood that unity was the most important thing. From that day on, the 7 brothers changed completely. They began to care for one another more, sharing work, and helping each other whenever difficulties arose. When one of them faced misfortune, the others were always ready to lend a hand. They no longer quarreled over trivial matters, but instead focused on working together to strengthen their family. The entire village noticed this transformation. Those who had once witnessed their conflicts now saw them living in harmony, working side by side and supporting one another. Over time, their family grew stronger, not only in material wealth but also in spirit. Their bond deepened, and laughter always filled their small home by the clear blue river. Many years passed, and Mr. Lamb gradually grew old and weak. Though his health was not as it once was, He felt at peace knowing that his sons had truly understood the lesson he had wanted to teach them. When he passed away, his 7 sons continued to hold his words close to their hearts, using them as a guiding principle in life. They maintained their unity and worked together to strengthen their family. Through their shared commitment, they built a prosperous life where no one in the family had to suffer from poverty or loneliness. Their brotherly bond grew even stronger, and their children were also taught the importance of unity. Over time, their family became one of the most respected lineages in the village. The townspeople spoke of them with admiration, seeing them as a shining example of familial love and loyalty. The story of the bundle of chopsticks was no longer just a lesson within one family. It became a reminder of the power of unity within the community and society as a whole. When people care for, connect with, and support one another, they become stronger and more resilient in the face of life's challenges.